Let's talk about deals with Shawn Michaels. You have a Ross report at the time where you're doing a bit of a blog online, and you reveal that Shawn Michaels had signed a contract for several years. And Meltzer, of course, thinks this means he's going to be back on TV as a major character imminently. And you also talk about signing a contract extension for Al Snow and getting Rhino to sign his deal, and Dave Taylor also coming in. Talk to me a little bit about Shawn coming back, because this is something you've teased here on the show before, but at this point, nobody knew he would be able to wrestle, but you knew he wanted to. You just had to sort of convince him to sign, right?
Yeah, I had to convince him that to not lose his confidence.
Right.
He was shattered. You know, he didn't have a lot of confidence. He had all the traits that you could lend to being burned out. I think he was burned out on the lifestyle that he was living and the life he was leading, because drugs and alcohol in it played a part, so too much of a part. So, and you know, my pitch to him was, look, you owe it to your legacy, and you owe it to the business to let these kids share in your wisdom and your expertise. Because you being around at that time, I was talking to him. He was a born again Christian. It was legit, and he was drug free, as best I knew. I had multiple meetings in San Antonio with him and his lawyer, Skip. I can't remember Skip's last name. He was Skip McCormick. Really nice man. Shawn had a good lawyer. I think his mom and dad probably helped Shawn with selecting Skip, who was a real honorable guy. And it's hard to use the word honorable and lawyer in the same sentence and not laugh out loud or have a spit take. But that was the deal. I said, you know, if you don't wrestle another match, which would be a crime, by the way, because you know you're better than anybody we got, that it's going to be horrible. But at least you can be around the talent. And you can see some young kid who grew up idolizing you that is starting to make a turn on the wrong road. And I believe you have the judgment, and you certainly have the ability to spot that and to help correct it and let these kids live their dream. So that was my pitch on that deal. It wasn't said, I want you to, we want you to come back. You have this program with this guy, another program with this guy. I didn't do any booking because that wasn't my area. But I knew what he could mean to our company, and I knew that him having success, return success after that 4-year absence, would be great for his psyche, for his demeanor, the whole 9 yards, because he was at a whole different place than he was when he left 4 years earlier. Whole different place, different dude. So that's kind of that situation. And all those other guys that we hired, nobody could look at that list of the Al Snows and Rhino, Dave Taylor, Taz, and say that they weren't talented guys. All of them had something to add to the equation in a positive way. And of course, teaching, coaching was one area that they all were excelled at and had done well in. So again, we're starting to get everything we wanted from ECW. We were getting, we're hiring the talents that we wanted. I don't have any regrets in those guys we signed. So anyway, it's all. I like this thing here. It says Rhino signed his contract, believed to be $100,000, which is about right. Probably $2,000 a week, and on reality for 3 years, plus an option for a 4th year, plus get this, Conrad, a whopping $5,000 signing bonus.
He probably needed to pay some bills or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
$5,000 is relative.
Yeah.
For some people it means nothing. For some people it means everything. It means getting your lights. I'm not saying Rhino had his lights turned off or anything like that, but seriously,
right.
$5,000 in new money can help you get caught up on some of your things, some of your bills. So it's just a different place, different time. And so anyway, and all those guys, we were trying to build that Tough Enough brand franchise. And we felt like that all those people that we hired, that group that I just mentioned, had the skill sets to teach fundamentals, bring some personality to the show. And of course, we all know that they're all going to try to get themselves over. That's the nature of the beast. Talent can't help that. I'm not knocking them either by it. But if they can show on TV that they're an entertaining character, they're good communicators, they have a gift of gab, blah, 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 then Vince sees that, and then he might be able to use those skills within the body of Raw or SmackDown.
Let's talk about some other skills coming into the company. Meltzer would report that the company has signed John Heidenreich, a former WLAF player said to be 6'7" and 320 pounds, ripped. He's going to get a developmental contract after some connections with the UPW, who we've talked about a lot out in California. And it's also written WWF is going to send a major star to the UPW show, which at this point will also be attended by Jim Ross and Bill Moody, aka Paul Bearer. So you guys had a pretty good relationship with UPW. I mean, you're going to find a lot of talent out there, including John Cena. But Heidenreich, what do you remember about him coming in?
He was a size higher, had the pro football background, great facials, he distinctively compelling look, but he was green as grass. He's a football guy. So he was a size higher. And, I don't remember too many issues with John, to be honest with you. But I just remember his aptitude for the genre itself was not very refined. Pardon me. So, but the potential, here's the thing, you take a flower to a guy like it. You don't pay him a whole lot of money, but you pay him enough money to keep him interested, pay his bills, so he can focus on training. But we thought, well, this son of a bitch is big and impressive and has a distinctive look. If we could get him fundamentally sound and teach him how to do basic rudimentary things in the ring that a big man would do, then we would be ahead of the curve. It's just the fact that some guys have the aptitude for the business and some guys just don't. And in my opinion, and I might be wrong, and the John Heidenreich fan club out there might disagree, but I thought that John had a problem assimilating the nuances of being a pro wrestling performer. But as far as a bad guy or anything, no. Some guys just don't have, if you didn't grow up a fan, you don't aware of the product as much, or you could disconnected with it at some point in your formative years. Sometimes it's hard to regain that. And I think that's the case with John. The only thing I remember about John significantly was when he molested Michael Cole in that backstage scene. You remember that?
Yeah. So
it was another creative, hey, let's be sensational, and whatever. But was it going to sell any tickets? How are you going to advertise that? Cole's molester in main event.
Yeah.
Come on. And molestation is not something you'd probably honor or want to underscore. So anyways, again, one of those ill thought out, don't have a better idea, let's try this ideas.
We're helping people save money at savewithconrad.com. And with all the economic turmoil going on the last few weeks and all the uncertainty it brings, here's one thing that is certain. Your home is still worth more than what you paid for it. According to the Zillow Home Value Index, the value of your home is still going up year over year, which means you're most likely sitting on untapped equity. Did you purchase your home or refinance it a few years back and got one of those really low COVID interest rates, and now maybe you're worried about giving it up? Well, here's something to think about. While the interest on your mortgage payment is low, the interest you're paying on your credit card balances is most likely wiping out those savings and then some. So what's more important, clinging on to that low rate or saving money each month? Let's talk about using the equity you've built up in your home and rolling all that debt into one lower monthly payment. Someone who just did that was our man Andrew, a maintenance worker in Tennessee. He needed to pay off some debt, and he needed to get a new roof and some new floors for his home. So instead of taking out more debt to do these upgrades, he came to savewithconrad.com to use the equity he's built up in his home and do a refinance. SaveWithConrad.com helped him accomplish all of those upgrades he wanted on his home. He paid off his debt, and now he's saving over $400 a month. He even got to skip his next 2 house payments. And you can do it too. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com and let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no cost and no obligation. And if we can't help you save some money today, we won't waste your time. It doesn't cost a thing to look, and you've got nothing to lose except some crazy high interest rates on those credit cards. You know you can do better. Start saving money today for your family with my family at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender.